Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tech That Doesn't Bite.
Hey, how's it going,
Yeah, I'm
everybody?
Simon C, and joining me is...
Jeff Worden. Great to see you, everybody, today for another episode of Tech That Doesn't Bite, the show that reviews and checks into stuff that you use all the time or just curious about. If you have anything you want us to check out, put it in the comments below.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely look into it for you.
And today we want to talk about some free alternatives to Microsoft Office.
Ooh, yeah, that's always a good time. Now, me personally, I've been a big user of the Microsoft Office
Same
suite
here.
for years and years and years and years. I mean, who hasn't really? I mean, I remember when it first came out, like too long ago. I don't want to talk about it, but the point being is that obviously that can get very expensive. It's gotten into legal battles. It's gotten into other sorts of issues and so forth. So, and that's definitely just over the years and whatnot. But now there are a lot of companies out there that are doing this stuff for free, or at least offering a free alternative that works pretty much as well as Word or Excel or whomever.
Absolutely.
To go from there.
You know, this is a good time, you know, if you guys are students, you know, and you don't have the money to pay for a monthly subscription of Microsoft Office 365. So these are good options if you just need to write essays or quick notes or things like that.
Exactly. All right, well, why don't we jump right into it here? There are two that I looked into, but I'm only going to talk more about one of them, and I'll mention why I went into two of them here. There's Apache OpenOffice, and there's LibreOffice.
Look at
now
OpenOffice. Let's wait till it loads. Go ahead, keep talking.
Okay, I'll do that. All right, well, now, as I understand it, I think Simon had pointed this out to me, is that Apache OpenOffice is an offshoot from LibreOffice.
It's the other way around.
Did I get that right, or is it the other way?
It's the other way around.
It's the other way around. Okay.
I believe.
All right. Well, I wasn't sure,
but something else too. So.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason I point this out, I figured it was the other way because LibreOffice is like a 300 plus megabyte download versus Apache being only like 135. So I figured that it was like LibreOffice got so big, okay, let's siphon some of this off so big as it's bloatware or whatever, but. Okay, however it works, one thing I noticed when I installed both of them is that they use the same file format, the .odt format. And when I downloaded a template through OpenOffice, every time I tried to open it, LibreOffice would open. See, now as a new user, I didn't realize that they were offshoots from one another. So the fact that LibreOffice opened instead of the Apache OpenOffice bothered me, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? I thought these were separate. Obviously, they weren't that separate, so I wasn't aware of that. Now you are, so just be aware of that when you install the software.
If you choose to install both.
So,
yeah,
right. Well, you might want to do a side-by-side comparison, like I've been doing. So that's part of it. But if you're going to just do one at a time, which I might recommend instead, that's not a bad way to go. So, all right. So let's jump into Office a little bit here. Now you see here they've got pretty much what you could hope for. They have the text documents, spreadsheets, presentation, and a slew of other stuff that you may find useful. Now, let me touch on real quick the templates part of it. And the reason I'm going to touch on that real quick here, because the interface for it, when you go to download templates or extensions, is very similar to how you might have for Firefox or Chrome, is that they have a SourceForge.net library of stuff you can download for. I'm like, okay, well, let's do something fairly relevant, such as download a template for a resume. Because obviously we're all at a time where a lot of us have lost our jobs, or we're on furlough, or whatever it might be. Now, if anything, it's a good time to update your resume. Excuse me. So I went and downloaded a couple of templates, and this is where I discovered that both LibreOffice and OpenOffice use the same format, and that was a bit problematic. But what I noticed was that when you download a template through OpenOffice, it doesn't put it into like the My Templates folder. You actually have to move it in there or open it in OpenOffice and then save it as a template into that library. That was a problem. That was a problem I had with it. I'm like, well, that's kind of stupid. Why not stick it in there? Because I'm going through that format, that interface anyways, to put it in there. But granted, it could be that because I had LibreOffice installed that it futzed with that. So if you know better than I do in this case, please by all means say so, and I'll certainly back up and say, yeah, you're right, it should be doing it that way. in any case, but that's actually something I really liked about it was that it has an interface or a source where you could download stuff that's out in the open, if you will, and add it to your documents. Now, go ahead and let's open the text document there. Now, one thing that this does, which I would imagine every free service does, that it does open Word documents, regardless of the version that it is. I had a resume that I've been using for years and years. I opened it in there, and it was about 99% right on target. There were a few flukes here and there that I found with it. One that I found was that, right, yeah, and that's going to happen. You just report it as a bug or however you want to do it that way. But as an example, I had done like some bullet points for some websites I created. I used to be a web designer years ago, and when I listed the websites, they all indented properly except for the last one. It's a little quirk thing, big deal, but it's just a little something that I found with it that I'm like, well, okay, so I got to correct it, I got to fix it, whatever. Another thing that I found that I really like about this is the export to PDF button that's right there on top there. You should see it's right there. I love this button. That is actually just a cool button in and of itself for me personally. Now, I don't often make my resume a PDF document. I usually don't have to. But nowadays that everybody's using PDF more, storing stuff into the cloud and that sort of thing, PDF is now arguably a standard that you definitely should have available to you. And that button right there just saves you a lot of grief of having to click on File, Save As, select Format Type, and then go from there. Just hit that button, boom, saves it to PDF, and you're done. And I love that. I really, really love that. And there was another item I thought that I had.
I remember you mentioned it to me. It was the email function? Document as email?
Yes, that's right. Right. Document as email, I don't remember what I wrote for that. That's okay. Either way, though, I thought that was actually kind of a nice touch, too, in that it just, you hit that, brings up your email program, and it attaches and it's ready to go, which is actually a nice way to go, too. So that's pretty slick. And if anything else, you could also probably do the same with your PDF document when you create that, too.
Right.
Now, one other thing I noticed is that when I went to recreate, I decided to start my resume from scratch to try and get it to look the way I had it before. Because so I had to maximize my margins, put as much information as possible as you're supposed to do with resumes. The thing I found is that I guess it depends on either your screen or it has to do with how fonts are rendered through OpenOffice. When you type out the word support at 100% view, I noticed that the U and the P in support blended together. But if you increase the view to 105%, they separated. Not a big deal in and of itself, but it's something where little things like that, with a font crunching like that, it can irk you to where it also changes the rendering of the whole document itself. So if you're having issues trying to get things to look right, that may be just one small thing that it does. Now, I think one other issue I had with it was the margins. Now, the margins were a real issue here. Now, in Word, it's just a page layout, boom, you get to your margin, or even just page and then margins. Here, it's format page, then you get to the margins. And I'm like, why not make it easier? Because you're going to be futzing with the margins probably more often than not, especially if you're creating a resume where you need to figure out other parts of it. So there are ups and downs with using OpenOffice, but honestly, just overall, I really like the interface. It's a nice interface. It's very similar to how Word looks, so you're not getting lost in the quagmire of a different menu system or a different ribbon setup or whatever you want to call it. But that's part of what it is. There's always going to be a learning curve in any new kind of software.
The one thing I do want to recommend, point out in OpenOffice is that it does not save the 2007 to the current version of Office or any Microsoft Office stuff, the format. So if you open Word, currently the standard default is the .docx. OpenOffice does not save any of that format. So there might be some issues. Right. So
and even if that's the case, if you wind up opening in a newer version of Word, it'll translate it and actually get the document, I'm sure, to look right. You'll probably have to tweak it like I did with my Word document going into OpenOffice. So
looking at LibreOffice, Now again, LibreOffice looks pretty similar to, they're all offshoot of each other. Their interfaces look different. But if you look at LibreOffice, you click Save As, they have the ability to save as DCOX, DOCX.
Maybe that's why it's another 200 megs larger.
Oh no, I mean, like it depends what your needs are.
It depends on what your needs are.
Personally, I recommend LibreOffice. I like the interface a little bit better. If I had to choose, I would use LibreOffice. But you've only used OpenOffice.
Why not? They're both free, so why not use the one that is better or could be better? But again, you need to gauge what your needs are, and if you're not concerned about being able to save as a Word or a DocX document, then OpenOffice will do the trick for you. And if you need something that'll save it to PDF very quickly, boom, that's the way to go.
LibreOffice also
now, I don't have an opinion one way or
directly to PDF as well. Yep.
Oh, is it right up there? Oh, very cool. I haven't had a chance. I haven't had a chance to look at LibreOffice too carefully. I was going to probably do that in another episode. But either way, but I like it. It looks good. I like OpenOffice. The text document side of it is very cool. I definitely encourage you to, if you want to save money and just use a regular, program to just download, install it instead of doing an online version of it. This is not a bad way to go, and it saves you some money too while you're at it.
And our honorable mentions, if you guys are using any Apple products, check out Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. That's part of the iWork suite. So those are available for free.
Right on.
If you want everything on the cloud, then the Google Docs, Google Spreadsheet, anything of the Google stuff, the Google Docs stuff. That's another good alternative.
Yeah, I've dabbled in that a little bit. I usually use it more for file storage than anything else. But yeah, the Google Docs stuff is
this
definitely is. That is one thing
this
I
is
would
the kind
definitely
of
give
stuff
Google
that
stuff.
I think OpenOffice and LibreOffice doesn't really have collaborations built into it. Not that we know of.
Right.
If there is, let us know in the comments below. I know
Absolutely.
Microsoft Office, they have it too, but again, you gotta
Microsoft.
You gotta pay for that.
I'm kidding. I can't. You can't knock them too hard in this case. They did the job. They've got it working, and and everybody uses it. Whatever about that. I have a feeling though, with the trends of working from home now, especially with the COVID-19 outbreak and so forth, with everybody teleconferencing and working from home and all that stuff, I have a feeling we're going to start seeing a lot more trending where people are using collaboration from home or remotely, and people are able to work from home instead. And I think that's going to be a more important market trend in and of itself, where it's going to head from here on out.
So these are definitely some of the free Office suites that we recommend. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think? Do you like OpenOffice? Do you like LibreOffice? Are you a iWork suite user? Google Drive, Google Docs? Let us know in the comments below.
Or do you just not care?
Are you
we definitely want to hear about it.
Paper and pen. I don't know if
that's me, probably.
I don't know if any professors still accept that, but who knows? I don't know. I don't go to school anymore. So
who knows?
Let us know in the comments below. Of course, feel free to chime in on the ones that you use that are free as well.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Tech That Doesn't Bite. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we'd love to hear from you about what you like to use and what we can check into for you.
And until next time, everybody, have a great day.
Have a good time. Take care.